Today we have a very extensive project. It's going to be the bed liner on this truck. It already had some kind of bed liner in it, but it was just getting old and faded, and it just wasn't done really well. So we're just going to redo it. So we have Raptor liner. This stuff is pretty amazing. I've seen videos of it on YouTube and stuff where people have shot it in the back of their trucks, and it's pretty cool. So basically, you have a bottle, and then you're going to mix in your hardener, which comes with the kit, obviously, if you buy the same kit I did. And then you just mix that straight into this bottle, shake it up, and then this gun will actually screw right onto the bottle. So it's amazing. There's a little straw you have to put to get that to go down into the bottle. And also the gun comes with a regulator on it. That way we can manage our pressure and everything. We have a ton of cleaning and prep to do first. So I have tried multiple different ways to get this stuff out of the bed of the truck, and the quickest way to start for me was to use a pressure washer with a sandblasting attachment to it. That was doing pretty good. And then since it's all in the bed of this truck though, the sand was getting wet, and then it was just a mess. It kept clogging and everything. So we've gotten a lot of it stripped off, and I think from here on out we're going to use this wire wheel on my angle grinder, and we'll cut to a time lapse, kind of time lapse through all of the prep, and go from there. All right guys, so sorry for the background noise. I've got a fire going out here just so I can try to warm the barn up. That way, whenever we get ready to prime all this, it'll be good to go. I don't know if you could see or not, but I took a 7-inch polisher slash sander and then just used some hook and loop or Velcro sanding disc, a 40 grit. That actually helped remove the truck bed liner a lot faster than what I thought. So up towards the very front, there's some pinholes. That's just to be expected. Water sometimes holds there, and it's just one of those problem spots on these trucks. So just kind of filling in all those holes with some filler. I could get a patch panel that I could weld in there and make it all look nice, but I just don't think it's necessary with the condition of the rest of the truck as far as the bed goes. So we're gonna let that dry, sand it all flat, and then we'll go from there. But again, it doesn't have to be 100% smooth because it's going to be a textured coating, and there's several coats that you're gonna put on it. So it's not really that important that it's super smooth because all of the little imperfections will be hidden anyways. Any big things like dents or stuff like that that you see in your bed, they're definitely going to show, maybe even more. So if you don't want that, you might want to fix it. For me, I don't really care. I just want the truck bed to look solid again. So all right, so as you can see, I rolled on some primer. It's just a rusty metal primer. You're supposed to use it on heavily rusted areas. It wasn't super crazy rusted, but it was enough where I wanted to take that extra precaution and get something that was going to neutralize the rust a little bit better. So you might be wondering why I rolled it on instead of just spraying it on. Well, if you look at it, it already has a texture to it because I used a roller instead of a spray. So with a very textured coating, it's just going to be much stronger, much more durable, hide more imperfections like that. Also hide a lot of sanding marks, all that kind of stuff. So it wasn't absolutely necessary to prime the entire thing, but it's going to give me even better adhesion whenever I go to spray on the bed liner. I'm going to wrap it up today, let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow we'll be ready to put down some bed liner. All right, so I have everything masked up as much as I can. I've got the wood burning stove going again just so I can build a little bit of heat in here. The mixing instructions on this are to add 8 ounces, which is this little can here, of hardener to your protective coating bottle. So there's room in there for you to add that stuff in there. And then the gun that comes with the kit literally just screws on top where the lid goes. So we're gonna mix this up. You have to let it sit for like 10 minutes. We have our gun pressure set at 45 PSI whenever it's full flowing. So that's gonna give you a textured coating. According to the bottle, that's going to give you more texture than if you were to use 60 PSI, and it's gonna cause it to have more atomization and it's gonna lay smoother. So we're gonna get up here and spray. I think the best approach for me is probably just to get up into the truck. I'm gonna be wearing socks because my shoes are very dirty and I just wipe this thing down. So I went ahead and hit it one more time with some wax and grease remover just to get it cleaned. It's been sitting for about 10 minutes. We're gonna mix this stuff up, put it on the gun, and start shooting it. So from here on, it's gonna be a time lapse because the compressor is gonna be on. It's gonna be super loud. So I figured I'd show you this as well. You can tell that when I pull the trigger, it ends up being around 45 PSI, which is what we want for a more coarse texture. So we're gonna go ahead and mix this stuff together, start spraying it on the car, and see what happens. This is my very first time ever spraying anything like this through a gun. So we'll see what happens. Okay, the stuff is super easy to shoot on actually. Very easy. I've got 2 coats on there and I feel like this is something that's actually gonna turn out pretty good. I'm gonna show you what we're working with right now. Okay, so this is 2 coats. And again, some of this like shininess, like where you see, like this looks really wet right here, that's because I literally just sprayed it. So it'll dull up and then it'll match some of the other areas right here that didn't get heavily sprayed. Then this 3rd coat is we're gonna go super light and just gonna kind of like dust it on, and that's gonna build up a lot of texture. I'm doing about an hour between coats, give or take like 10 minutes, but that was what was recommended on the official website. So I'm gonna listen to that before I listen to other instructional videos and stuff, but this information is coming straight from their website. So an hour between coats, 45 PSI. I'm gonna do a 3rd coat, which is just gonna be very light dusting, and sometimes if an area is shot a little bit heavier, then it smooths out and it's just not an even texture. So dusting on this very last coating is going to be what's going to give it even uniform texture across the whole bed, hopefully. I think that this can be a testimony to how easy this stuff is to shoot, because first time ever spraying anything with a gun and it looks really good. And to answer some of your other questions, this is a 30-gallon air compressor. There's a line that's run up to 2 filters right here. These pretty much just remove the water from the line, so you can purge them like that. As you can see, I've actually got a fairly dry setup right here, because if you were to purge these and you had water in your lines, then you would have moisture dripping out of there. I currently have this set on 75. The reason for that is because the gun, not full flowing, wants to be at around like 70 in order for, when you pull the trigger, for it to be 45 flowing. So 75 was the number for my setup. This is going to be vastly different across different setups, but then just got a line going up here to a hose reel, and then obviously out to my project. And again, I've got to say also that you need to make sure that it's the correct temperature to spray this stuff, because if it's super cold where you're working at, like right now, if I was not to have any kind of heat source in my barn, it'd be freezing cold in here, like 30 degrees. So way too cold to do anything with any kind of product. So I got a fire going to manage the temperature above 50 degrees, which is what the website says. So we're gonna let this dry up, do one more coat, dust it on, let it dry overnight, and then we'll take a final video. All right guys, so the third and final coat is on, and I've gotta say, it looks pretty freaking good. So I'm gonna give you a few shots of this thing here in a second, but it looks pretty good. And like I was saying, the ease of use is crazy. This is my very first time ever spraying anything like this, and for it to come out looking like this, I'm very happy with it. All right, so that third and final coat was that farther away shot to kind of build up some more texture, and it did just that. It looks really, really good. There's still a few spots that are trying to dry. Overall though, I mean, everything looks very uniform, very nice. It really transforms this old beat up bed. So again, some closer shots. Just look at the consistency of this stuff. All right guys, so every product that I use in this video will be linked to in the description below. I don't get anything for recommending these products to you. I just want to recommend good products when they work for me. And for example, this is a perfect example of something that needs recommended because it's gonna help you guys, it helped me, save me hundreds of dollars. Maybe you have the same kind of equipment laying around your house, your barn, your garage, whatever, and you just don't want to take that leap of faith and spray it yourself. I'm telling you, it's super easy to work with, super easy. This is my very first time, I wouldn't lie to you guys, first time ever spraying something through a gun. So we'll see how it sets up in this extreme cold. You gotta let this set up for like 72 hours, I think it is, before you do anything to it. So I'm just gonna let it do its thing. It's already dry, so dry to the touch at least. I wouldn't plan to have any kind of moisture on this for a while because obviously you want it to fully cure and you want a long-lasting product. But seriously, you guys should definitely try it. Very good product. The only thing wrong with this bed now is the fact that there are dents all over it. So if this video helped you in any kind of way, if you just enjoyed watching it, give it a thumbs up. I'd highly appreciate that. If you have any feedback or have any questions, reach out to me for sure. I'd be glad to help you guys. And then go to the Facebook page where I can go kind of more one-on-one and help people more on Facebook. We do have more of this product that we're going to be able to put down here in the trunk of the Nova. It's going to be kind of a project that we put off for a little while just because we're still working down here on the quarter panel. So stay tuned, a lot of good updates coming. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel already, I would really appreciate it if you would, and help grow the channel so we can make awesome cars like we have right here. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.